It's story time. The stories are real, the judgments are yours. You're invited to the third episode, the Thabo Bester prison escape. Ready to judge? Hit the follow and subscribe button, drop your thoughts below, and enjoy. First, everyone believed Thabo Bester was dead, burned beyond recognition inside a maximum security prison cell. A man serving life sentences, gone forever. But that story was a lie. Because while South Africa mourned and moved on, Thabo Bester was already free. This is the full story of who he really was, how his crimes began, how he manipulated everyone around him, and how he pulled off one of the most shocking prison escapes in modern history. Early life and crimes. Thabo Bester was born on the 13th of June 1986 in Johannesburg, South Africa. By the mid-2000s, while still in his teens, Bester had already come into contact with the criminal justice system. At age 19, around 2005, he served time for fraud, later breaking parole, which led to further criminal behavior. In 2011, Bester escalated his crimes. That same year, he was arrested for a hijacking incident after crashing a stolen vehicle, an early sign of the violent path he was on. Later in 2011, he began using Facebook to lure women, posing as a modeling agent or successful businessman. He promised career opportunities, photo shoots, and financial success, but those offers were lies. Once victims met him in person, he raped and robbed them, often threatening them with a knife. One of his victims was Nomfundo Taihulu, his girlfriend at the time. In 2011, Bester murdered her after assaulting and robbing her, a crime that would later become central to his conviction. In 2012, Thabo Bester was convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment for murder, along with multiple counts of rape and robbery. From that point on, he became widely known in the media as the Facebook rapist. Life in prison. Following his sentencing in 2012 until 2022, Bester was transferred to Mangang Correctional Center in Bloemfontein, a privately run maximum security prison. He was expected to spend the rest of his life behind bars, but prison did not silence him. It gave him time. Time to observe. Time to manipulate. Time to plan. Inside prison, Bester was not treated like a typical inmate. He convinced staff that he was wealthy. He claimed to have powerful connections. He slowly gained privileges, access to electronics, more freedom of movement, and influence over guards. People didn't see him as a prisoner. They saw him as someone important. During this time, investigations later revealed that Bester operated a fraudulent company called 21st Century Media, falsely claiming that international celebrities would attend events that never existed. Even from behind bars, he was still running scams. The fire and the fake death. On the 3rd of May 2022, a fire was reported inside Thabo Bester's prison cell. When guards arrived, they found a body burned so severely it was unrecognizable. Prison officials quickly announced that Thabo Bester had committed suicide by setting himself on fire. The cell was locked. No signs of a struggle. No alarms. Within days, authorities announced that Thabo Bester had committed suicide. The prison closed the case. No immediate DNA testing. No serious investigation. No hard questions. Just a rushed conclusion. But something didn't sit right. The public was told he was dead. The case was closed, but in the months that followed, between late 2022 and early 2023, journalists and investigators uncovered the truth. Journalists began digging. How does a maximum security inmate set himself on fire without anyone noticing? Why were security cameras offline that night? Why was the body cremated so quickly? Then came the truth. The body found in the cell was not Thabo Bester. It belonged to another man, believed to be an unidentified homeless individual who had been smuggled into the prison, killed, placed in Bester's cell, and burned to conceal his identity. This was not a suicide. It was a staged death. Investigators later revealed what likely happened. Thabo Bester had help from prison staff and people on the outside. Guards were bribed or manipulated. Logs were falsified. Security protocols were ignored. Bester was quietly removed from his cell before the fire ever started. The body was placed inside afterward. Then, the prison sold the public a lie. The remains were later identified as disappeared shortly before the fire. The autopsy also showed blunt force trauma before the fire, indicating the body had been placed in the cell and burned afterward. This was not suicide. It was a staged death. The escape. Investigators now believe that before the 3rd of May 2022, Thabo Bester was quietly removed from his cell with the help of inside collaborators, prison staff, and contractors. For nearly a full year, Thabo Bester lived as a free man. He traveled across South Africa, stayed in luxury properties, eventually crossed borders. The fire was then used as cover. In July 2022, just 2 months after the staged death, Bester was stopped by traffic police for speeding. The revelation shocked the country. A convicted rapist and murderer had escaped with help from professionals sworn to protect society. He was released. Why? Because he was carrying a fraudulent ID under the name Katlego Nkwana, and police had no record that he was a fugitive. Authorities didn't even know yet that he had escaped. That's how complete the deception was. Life on the run. Between mid-2022 and early 2023, Thabo Bester lived openly. He stayed in luxury properties in wealthy Johannesburg suburbs alongside Dr. Nandifa Magudumana, a well-known doctor, and his romantic partner. Together, they allegedly ran fraudulent business schemes, convincing investors to hand over millions of rand for construction and development projects that were never. Bester used multiple aliases and appeared to live comfortably, despite officially being, quote, dead. Arrest in Tanzania. On the 8th of April 2023, the truth finally caught up with him. South African authorities shared intelligence with neighboring countries. Shortly after, Tanzanian immigration officials flagged Magudumana for entering the country under suspicious circumstances. She was reportedly traveling with a man using a false identity. That man was Thabo Bester. Thabo Bester and Dr. Magudumana were arrested in Arusha, Tanzania. Days later, they were extradited back to South Africa, where Bester was returned to prison under maximum security conditions, far stricter than before. Since 2023, authorities have launched multiple investigations into how the escape happened. Several prison officials have been suspended or charged. As of 2024-2025, Bester's escape-related trial has been postponed to mid-2026 due to ongoing legal challenges. Why this matters? This case isn't just about one criminal. It exposes massive failures in maximum security incarceration, corruption and collusion inside a privatized prison system, fooled authorities for nearly a year, and how close he came to never being caught at all. If journalists hadn't pushed for answers in 2023, Thabo Bester might still be officially considered dead. A man convicted of rape and murder in 2012, who faked his death in 2022, escaped with inside help, and was only caught in another country in 2023. This isn't just true crime, it's a warning.